Hello everyone, today we're going to be on Copart looking at uh, cars that are in Seattle. Obviously wreck, crashed, that kind of thing in Seattle this time. And before I get started, I would like to give a shout out to Andy Mateo uh, for being a subscriber. So shout out to you, Andy Mateo. Now on with the video. This particular 2015 Audi Q5 is in the northern section of Seattle and it's worth $29,000. It also has 31,000 miles on it, and it was front end damage. It has front end damage. So you can see, obviously, no fender right there. No, you can see the whole bumper and grill combination fell off there. No headlights, none of that. The rear of the Q5 looks just fine. Very nice car. I personally like Audis. You can see the nice black leather interior, automatic transmission. And then you have the rear seats back there. Again, this is a very clean car. It didn't have that many miles, but still a very, very clean car. Then you can see the engine right there, a V6, and the odometer, and then the extent of the damages one last time. So that was the 2015 Audi Q5 TDI. Our next car is going to be this 2017 Kia Optima LX. This particular Optima LX is in the northern section of Seattle and is worth $11,806 and has 53,000 miles on the odometer and has front end damages. It also has a Missouri salvage certificate, so it may have been purchased or something like that in Missouri. So you can see the main damage right there is just below the bumper, or just below the grill rather, you can see. But other than that, it looks perfectly fine. You can see a little dirty. It may have been sitting here for a while. But it's a pretty decent looking car. Now, these are cloth seats and they are a little dirty. They're also manual seats, but you get an automatic transmission, which is nice, I guess. You can see the rear seats, a little dirty, but not that bad. The engine is very, 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 very dirty, very dusty. It may not have been running for a little while. The battery may be dead. You can see the odometer there. And you can see a crack in the bumper. So that was the 2017 Kia Optima LX. Our next car is going to be this 2006 Scion XB. It's also in northern Seattle, and it's worth $4,600 with 0 miles on the odometer because it's exempt. You can see it has side damage, and you can see the front end looks just fine, but you can see that headlight looks a little crooked there, and you can see that the side of the car was where it was struck. It was either a red light or it ran a red light or someone ran a red light and it got T-boned. Either way, you can see it. The driver door, you can't get out of that. It was probably jammed after that crash. Anyway, you can see the rear looks not that bad, but the interior is really disgusting. You have a disgusting seat, a water bottle over there on the driver's seat, cups and CDs, and it looks like a deodorant stick, and more cups, and it's just really nasty. And the rear seat doesn't get much better, and the fact that it's a cloth interior doesn't help. Anyway, you can see again that crooked headlight there, and you have your gauge cluster. Yes, that's where the gauge cluster is on this car. And then the disgusting interior one last time. And it looks like somebody may have gutted the interior, or the radio rather. So that was a 2006 Scion XB. Our next car is going to be this 2004 Chevrolet Malibu Max LS. This particular one is also in northern Seattle and is a hatchback, just in case you didn't know. It is worth $3,300 and it has 128,225 miles on the odometer and has front end damages. So you can see nothing wrong with it right there. A little foggy headlights and yeah, it's a little foggy. And you can see going around to the back. I've never really liked this generation of Malibu. It only lasted a couple years. But anyway, you can see not that much wrong with the interior there. Cloth seats, automatic transmission, very clean, pretty much interior. Rear seats are also pretty much the same, nothing wrong with them, very clean. Engine looks pretty decent, most likely a 4-cylinder, and then you have your gauge cluster and that flat tire. So that was the 2004 Chevrolet Malibu Max LS. Our next car is going to be this 2019 Chrysler 300S. Now, this is worth $26,125. It is only 517 miles, so it most likely still had the temporary tag before it was rear-ended, because it was because it was rear-ended, and it also has a Missouri salvage certificate, so it was probably most likely also in Missouri. You can see very nice on the front end. It doesn't look that bad. Unfortunately, it was most likely rammed into by a pickup truck or a semi or something like that, and so it is done for, and that's pretty unfortunate because the owner only had it for 517 miles. One interesting thing, though, the airbags did not deploy, so maybe it was in a parking lot, or I'm not necessarily sure how that happened, but the airbags didn't deploy. You see the odometer and the the screen there. So our next car is going to be this 1997 Honda CR-V LX. It's also in northern Seattle and is only worth $2,900 and has 216,000 miles on the odometer, and most of the damage is mechanical underneath the car. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. Of course, front end doesn't look that bad, although neither of the headlights are hazy, which is interesting. Rear end doesn't look that bad. A little bit of mold and corrosion and stuff starting to build up on the car, on the door handles and stuff. But very, very, very clean, almost immaculate interior. Cloth seats. It is very nice for number one, the age, and number two, how far it's been driven. Very, very clean interior. So you can see the engine looks just fine, and you have the odometer and a radio, which is most likely aftermarket. I don't know anything about radios. So our next car is going to be this 2016 Honda Accord EX. It's also in northern Seattle and is worth $12,312 and has 137,485 miles on it, which it's been driven very hard if it already has that many, and it's only a 3-year-old car. Well over like 60, around 50 to 60,000 a year, and has rear end damages because it was most likely rear ended. And now you can see the front end of these looks very nice. LED headlights, or daytime running headlights rather, very nice. You can see LED fog lights. I really like this version of the Accord, but then you can see why it's here, because The window smashed out. You can see trunk lid is open. So again, something probably hit it very fast from behind, or a hailstorm, something like that. You see automatic transmission, nice-ish leather interior, and of course glass all over the rear seat. So if there are any rear seat occupants, they may have had severe cuts. And then you have your engine, and then the odometer, and the extent of the damages one last time. So our final car is going to be this 2007 Ford Freestar SE. This is worth $0 and it has 0 miles because it's exempt, and it has front end damages, and is also in the northern section of Seattle. So you can see Freestyle has some little scuffs and chips and scrapes on the bumper, but really there's nothing wrong with the front end. It wasn't in any collision or anything. It's just had a long life. You can see the dents and it's really not that bad cosmetically on the outside. Interior is pretty clean. For the most part, it's clean. It's still some trash and stuff. You can see the engine. The odometer doesn't work, and you can see the tires. And so, I think that'll about do it for the Copart lot of Seattle. Again, shout out to Andy Mateo. And so, I guess I will see you in the next video.